Grand rising, grand rising, grand rising. Yes, I'm missing a stone there. Y'all know maybe. I just want to chime in. I finally watched the whole video on Terrance Howard and him talking to those college students, exchange students, I think they are, but they're college students. And some of the things he said, I understood. And it made me think about when he was talking about how math is in the two-dimensional and we need to move it to the three-dimensional because everything is in a three-dimensional but math. So I understand that and understood it, and the more and more he talked. And some of the young people had questions on, well, if 1 times 1 equals 2, what about 1 plus 1? He didn't talk too much on that. And I understand and I get the reason why he didn't is because he was there to discuss how the banks and other companies use the math for themselves and how they're using that other part of math that we don't use or we haven't been taught or the masses are using, and that he's trying to get us caught up to it. And basically, in so many words, he's saying we're being cheated. We're not being paid at our jobs or any type of work that we're doing at what we're supposed to be paid for. If I deposit $500 in the bank, then I'm not getting what my money is worth, especially when they are doing the interest. They're doing the interest on a two-dimensional instead of the three-dimensional. I get it. And it had me to think about when you were in school all those years and you start off learning plus, then you start, timetables and gradually, into geometry and trigonometry, all that stuff, right? And I can remember being in elementary that math did not make sense to me. They put me in a math class. They put me in a math class for slow learners, actually. And I guess I didn't learn it fast enough or didn't understand it fast enough. They call it Tyler 1 math. Now that I think back on it, I think a lot of people and children now that is as quote unquote not, or they describe as being slow in a certain area in school, I think it just don't make sense to them. It's not that they don't know it, they just don't know it that way. I think sometimes we're born into this world already knowing that shit really ain't what it's supposed to be. But by you being a child, you already know this, but you don't remember. And that made me think about that. Well, really, it probably wasn't anything really wrong with me. I just didn't learn it that way. And I knew it wasn't right. So, also to go on, we learn all these different kind of maths and it does not apply to anything in our life. Our jobs, we may not even look at it again unless we go to college. Or you have to take up some type of class. When I went to fashion school, yes, we had math because we had college math where we had to know how to do the right dimensions for patterns and stuff like that when it comes to sewing and cutting and measuring and stuff like that. Yes, that's when it came in handy. But if you not taking any classes that even have anything to do with your career, but they still have you to do that math. Why? Why pay money for something that you are not going to use in your career or your career field? Once again, it's all about money. So I just came on to chime in to talk about that because there was something on my mind that he's on to something. He is on to something, because if he wasn't, he wouldn't have had that scientist there. Yes, they underestimating him just because he don't have that degree, or he may not be as smart as everybody. And you don't have to be. And it goes back to then saying who is smart and who's not. He did not give himself any credit on being knowledgeable. And he may know more than them. He just don't have the degree that you have to go through in this lifetime to say that you are smart. You know it all because you passed this test and that test and this test and this test. But sometimes you already have it here. And you don't have to go to school for that. You don't have to have someone to tell you that you know it all, or you know what you're talking about. Because if he didn't know what he was talking about, that man wouldn't have been sitting on that stage. But of course, he was smart enough to say he patented. So that means that nobody can take credit for it. And if they know that, now that he let that cat out the bag, they might not want to deal with him because they wants to take the credit for it. And I give it to him. But if these scientists are genuine that he's working with, maybe they will give him the credit for it. And that's all I have to say. And I just chimed in to give my thoughts on it. It's just my theory, my opinion. Nobody else have to agree with it. But if you want to chime in, comment below, and we can discuss it and see where it goes. And you have an amazing, amazing day or night, wherever you are. Peace and love. I would use my other hand, but it's holding the phone. But anyway, bye.